this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
No.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the last spooky episode of Horrorween this year on SeptumSin versus the World. I'm here with Kotobuki Jake, my last appearance this year as the Mad Hatter. And I'm sure that Dr. Streaming will love to get his hat back from you.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. You'll see such a big smile on his face.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's been around since you portrayed yourself as him for the Versus Awards.
Oh.
When you hunted down that sea captain that I hired to sing things for.
Speaking of, have you thought of any of other movies you forgot when we did our discussion of last year? Because I thought of one.
Oh,
I forgot Saturday Night.
Oh.
I didn't talk about that, right?
Mm-mm.
Can't believe I forgot Saturday Night. Ugh. Jason Reitman's account of the first ever Saturday Night Live. Interesting movie.
Yep, and I'll probably do a solo video where I talk about some of the stuff that I've watched over the year, because I'll pull up my my Letterboxd channel as show my numbers. I haven't done a lot of reviews on there lately, but I have done a ton of viewing. Matter of fact, I watched that. What was it, On High Water, or what was it?
Hell or High Water.
Hello, High Water, yeah.
Good movie.
So I just finished watching that. So, yeah, Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Any case, we're here to discuss, the time of year. And, during this time of year, people really want to get their, witch and wizarding world of Harry Potter. And, I mean, this is one of those times. You've got witches, you've got wizards, you've got ghosts. You've got this Halloween-y type castle with all the trimmings. You got the cauldrons, you got all of that stuff. And people also like it for pretty much all of this time of year. They like to watch Harry Potter from this time of year to Christmas, usually movie-wise. And I do have the film. Matter of fact, I will bring it over.
You got that
here.
nice set.
Yeah, I've got the, I didn't get the super nice set, but I got this set here.
Yeah, you didn't get that big, was it, what did they call it, a wizard's box or whatever it was, or
It's like
wizard's chest? Or,
Yeah, it's like a trunk.
that was crazy. Expensive, too.
But,
Hey, Ollie.
That was back before certain things made their way clear. J.K. Rowling has always been a controversial figure. And she made herself much more controversial with certain tweets and doubling down and tripling down and quadrupling down. And
One thing was interesting that she was sort of a pariah of the right, and now the shoe's on the other foot.
so, and so this is a video that's one for you people who probably are not very fond of J.K. Rowling right now. Or maybe you've watched Harry Potter so much that you really would like something else that reminds you of the series this year. So Jake and I have come up with 5 entries each of series or movies that can fill that Harry Potter need for the time being in the season. These have to be, of course, ones that we've seen. One of us has to have seen one of the ones we've presented, and it has to be available on physical, or at least been available on physical in some form, or can be illegally available on physical, for the case of bootlegs. But either case, it has to be in the collection because it's a physical media chain. So we'll start off with Jake showing some alternatives to Harry Potter this time of year.
And I will concede, the first one I'm going to lead off with it's a little bit of a stretch, but there are some similarities. First of all, most of the characters are magic users. It does create a lot. It's a show that has a lot of world building. It goes into a lot of talking about rivalries between different factions and all that kind of stuff. Like you have the different schools in Harry Potter. It's not strictly a school setting, it's a guild setting. And there is a lot of rivalry between the guilds and whatnot. But also it's a big on good versus evil sort of thing. And this is a show that's based on a manga which I have read, and I'm currently slowly reading the sequel manga. And there's a bunch of series based on it. I've only seen the first series and part of the second. I think there have been 3 series total and maybe a couple of movies. But that, of course, is the series based on... I am blanking on the dude's name. Massimo, is that it? I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, Fairy Tail is a really fun show, really fun manga. Your main characters, primarily on the cover here, you've got Natsu Dragneel and Happy. And the main, the backside of this has teeny tiny picture of the other major characters. But your main characters, you've also got Lucy Hartfilia, Gray, Fullbuster, I think it is, Ezra Scarlet, and Wendy and Carla. I don't remember Wendy's name offhand. But basically, they're an assortment of magic users that belong to this guild, Fairy Tail, and go on adventures. Again, it's a stretch to say this is a close Harry Potter thing, but it should appeal to much of the same audience, and it's a fun, uplifting series that's worth watching just for, for shits and giggles, if nothing else.
It is a good one, and it does have a lot of similarities in some ways. Plus, of course, if you're big into anime, you're going to love this list because 90% of our lists are anime. But we do have a couple live actions.
It's going to be anime heavy, yes.
So this next one I decided to pick because it's a little bit farther apart from it, but it has a lot of similarities as well. And that is a series that has 2 seasons. And that is Some Days Dreamers. And that's season 1. And season 2. Now, season 1 has... what's going for it is that it's actually very widely entertaining. Overall, it's pretty decent. It holds my attention. This one is more background and music focused, but is a little bit more boring in the nature and storytelling.
That's like your all-time favorite theme, though, isn't it?
Yes. So, this has a bunch of people who are going to a magic school. But the magic school is not very much like Harry Potter's magic school. It's not a lot of witches and wizards and goblins and stuff. It's just basically a modern school, except it teaches magic instead. And all of the wizards and witches, they do it in a certain way. There is some definite fantasy elements. I mean, shoot, there is magic in this. They are using magic. They are going to a magic school. And there are villains. There are definite things there. The second one, Sora, is a much more ethereal feel to it. It's not as, like I say, it's more of a based on the environment. You have people who are playing music downtown. You've got a lot of art pieces in the background that are nice. It's in general a good series. It does have some tragedy in it. This one's a little bit more straightforward. I like both series very well. They are close to Harry Potter. If you're just looking for like a bunch of people going to a magic school to learn magic, and a bunch of basic teens to early adults doing that, then this is definitely a series that can fill in that need.
Okay. All right. My next one gets away, in some ways, is even further in that it's not really about magic. But it's still a supernatural series. There's still a lot of... it's a very supernatural vibe to it. And I believe there are some magic users involved, if I remember correctly. But it is...
There are witches involved.
Yes. This is... Medusa's a witch, isn't she?
Yeah, Medusa.
Okay. So there is definitely some important magic use in it. And it does have a school setting. It takes place at an academy for Reapers, for Grim Reapers. And that is the show Soul Eater. The headmaster is Death, and Death in this series is crazy. He's very interesting. And Death the Kid, his child, is one of the major characters in the show. You got Maka and Soul are the main pair at the beginning. And then Tsubaki and Black Star, and then the Thompson twins with Death the Kid. The show has an interesting idea of meisters and weapons. You have one person, Maka, is a meister. Soul is a weapon, a person who can become the tool of the meister. Tsubaki is Black Star's weapon. The Thompson sisters are Death's weapons. You've also got the Frank, I think his name was Frank Einstein, is like the doctor at the school. And Excalibur. The Legend of Excalibur gets a hilarious update in this series. It is very different in many ways from Harry Potter, I won't lie. But the fact that it is a school setting, it does have a lot of similarities in some ways. And Medusa is one of the most twisted, messed up. She's probably one of the worst parents in anime, and that's saying something. And she and, is it Arachne? Was that the name of one of the... Oh, there's Excalibur. 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 There is a something in here called the Excalibur face. It's very meme-worthy. Fun show. It has a sequel called Soul Eater Not that I have not actually seen. I've also read this manga, and it's a pretty solid manga. The show's mostly a good adaptation, although it changes some of the later parts. Pretty solid, and like I said, not witches and wizards, but if you're looking for a supernatural school setting, pretty good.
So my last 4 are actually pretty spot on. All of them are. I'm starting with one that's a movie because it's the one that I'm least remembering, because it's been a while. I haven't watched it since we watched it in theaters, and it's been a while. Okay. And that's the movie Mary and the Witch's Flowers, which is by Studio Ponok. Is that right?
Ponok. Yeah. However they say it.
They're the ones, Ponok. Okay, that kind of... A lot of them broke off from Studio Ghibli, and they have a very similar vibe, and they're doing their own thing. This is about a girl who ends up getting the witch's flower. She ends up going to a witch's school undercover, and the part of her wants to be a witch, but of course she gets discovered, she might get killed or eaten. So she has to be very careful. Now, this has a lot of similarities to Harry Potter, and the fact that you've got somebody who's going to a school for witches, you've got somebody who is kind of from menial means coming there, and there is a lot to prove. Now, this one is really good. This one I need to watch again because I need to remember more about the school and all of that, but it does have a good vibe. So if you're looking for a movie that has a similarity to Harry Potter in a lot of ways, this is not a bad place to start.
And also, if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli and you want to branch out and watch stuff that's not under the Ghibli banner. Now, I had forgotten a certain bit that he just mentioned there. my next choice also includes a character who is, if his identity gets out, he's kind of screwed.
Not even supposed to be there today.
Exactly. And this is a fun one. Again, not a magic school, but there's a really fun...
Well, there is a witch.
well, yeah, and I haven't gotten there yet. It's a school for monsters. But in the definition of this show, witches are considered a class of monster. They're about as close to human as the monsters in the school are. And actually, it is, we'll be blunt, a harem anime. And of the harem, 2 of them are witches. Although one of them is more of like a hanger-on. She's just one of the kind of she's the Phoebe of the group, the oddball. And I don't mean that in terms of personality, but in terms of just being the oddball of the group. And it's a show that, I've read the manga. The manga is vastly superior to the anime, but the anime is beautiful and has great music. And that is the show Rosario and Vampire. So the main character, who you see in very tiny form there, is an ordinary, normal guy, or at least so we're led to believe, who finds himself, he couldn't get into any other school. And he finds himself somehow enrolled in a school where he learns very quickly that he cannot tell anyone he's a normal human, or he will be killed. And he quickly assembles a group of young ladies, the pink-haired one being the vampire of the title, who knows his secret and protects him. And this show has an interesting thing where vampires are by far the most powerful monsters, and she wears a Rosario to lock her power in. And when she goes wild, she is scary. But she is his main protector. The other 3, the blue-haired one is a succubus, the purple-haired one is a Yuki-onna, and to be honest, this show is responsible for my interest in Yuki-onna. And then the short one is the witch, who's the main character. Kapu was the sequel, and that introduces the vampire's younger sister. I don't remember if I read that entire manga or not. I know I read the first run, but I don't remember if I read the second one. It's a fun show. It really did feel to me that the show was an excuse to make music more than it was an actual, and to sell the manga. Like, it's not a solid standalone show in terms of quality, but in terms of fun, it is fun. Kurumu, the succubus, has a song that is my summer anthem. It's called Large Melons at the Beach. And the Yuki-onna also has a really great song. And it, like I said, it's a pretty show. And the cool thing about the manga is that, one, it is a little deeper, but they do profiles on every monster in the series. They do like a full page profile of, this is the monster, this is some stuff about it. So if you read the manga, you'll actually learn about mythology and folklore and Japanese and Western. They draw from a bunch of different, so it's really cool. And like I said, the show is weak, but it's fun.
I've read all of the first manga series and about half of the second one, and then I stopped collecting it. But it had a very shonen-esque feel to it as well, where the main character develops powers himself and does a lot of fighting and all that.
The vampire feeds on him a lot, and it takes its toll. It's more important in the manga, but he basically becomes a ghoul.
Yeah, you see a little bit of it in the series, but nowhere near as much as you get to see in the manga. So it is one that I wish that they would do. I mean, they've been doing redos of series lately.
Right.
Redo that one.
Right.
The manga's done. You could do a complete series.
You could.
Alright, so I was about to pull Mary and the Witch's flower again. Which is so good. So a lot of these are about witches. And my last one on the list, I think, was as much an inspiration to the majority of these ones as Harry Potter. Though I think Harry Potter was one of the main inspirations to get it going, but I do think that they were familiar with the last one. Because it's just too similar to not. And the next one is Little Witch Academia. Now this is a bootleg, I'm not gonna lie. But it's got the main TV series and the movie. It doesn't have the OVA. Now this is a fun series about a girl who gets a scholarship to go to a witch's school because they're hurting for money and they need to, so they're reaching out to like normal people to do it instead of witching families. And so she saw this one witch perform when she was little, and she said, I want to be a witch so I can make people happy just like this one. And so she goes, but you find out that she's not very good at magic. A lot of the stuff she does just fails automatically. Everybody else can fly on a broom. She can't fly at all on a broom. She's making trouble. It's very similar to the last one on the list in some ways. The series is very well written. Studio Trigger does the animation, so the animation is spectacular. It has that friend dynamic that you see in Harry Potter, where you've got the three-friend dynamic. The main one, of course, being, I want to say is Yuki, Akko. And then you've got, and of course you have our kind of more brainy one. And then you've got Susie, who I think Jacob would like the most because she's always trying to poison and trick the main character and mess with her. There's actually one episode that's really funny where they're trying to save her, so Akko goes into her mind, and they're looking at this this broadcast. It's supposed to be like this drive-in theater, and these are broadcasts of the memories, and of course it shows her what she thinks about the other characters. So it shows this like early style cartoony black and white thing, and the main person who does the best in school, kind of your Malfoy type character. It shows her looking like this snooty character with her nose in the air and all that, and Akko's laughing. Then it shows her past that, and it makes Akko look like this goofy little dwarf from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it is a fun series. There's a lot of cool twists. The story is very interesting. It has a really heart-wrenching twist at the end, which I will not reveal. I really enjoyed watching this the second time around. I'll probably watch it a third time and a fourth time around in the future. Well worth your time this time of year for Halloween, and very much a Harry Potter-esque series. So if you like Harry Potter, you will like this one because it is that good.
And now for something completely different. So, my next one is one that actually there might have been a couple of possible contenders from the various projects that Tim Burton has been involved with. And actually, one that I did give serious consideration to mentioning or showing off was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, except that the movie really wasn't all that great. It had some great visual cues, but they really did a number on the books. But a show that's out right now, and incidentally, I think Miss Peregrine's Home would be great to get the Netflix treatment. But a show that's on Netflix right now that has had some notoriety. It's been quite popular, and I'm working on season 2 myself. Is a show produced in large part by Tim Burton, and it says here on the cover, "From the imagination of," but it's technically from the imagination of Charles Addams, and that is the series Wednesday, which features Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams, Louise Guzman as Gomez, Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. Can't remember who plays Pugsley, to be honest. And Fred Armisen shows up here and there as Fester. And you have various other people showing up. Season 2 features Steve Buscemi, although he's not in this season. Wednesday is a different take on the Addams Family. That's for sure. You can definitely see the Tim Burton influence. And honestly, the vibe is very close to the vibe of the last few Harry Potter films. Like, it's pretty dark. And I've always loved Wednesday as a character. But honestly, this version of her exasperates me because she's every bit as pig-headed as Harry gets to be.
Yeah.
And much like Harry Potter, she is a hard-nosed, hard-headed, I can fix it individual at a school for people with special gifts who is solving mysteries and trying to protect her school and her friends, and most of all herself, against dark forces all around. The show it's not a school for witches and wizards, although I think there are some magic users, but they call them outcasts. And Wednesday, apparently, like her mother before her, and her aunt in particular, has psychic abilities. Pugsley apparently inherited from Fester a use of electricity. There are sirens, there are werewolves, there's a gorgon, there's a girl in season 2 who turns invisible. Buscemi plays a character with fire powers. So, a lot of various abilities. It's a pretty interesting show. It's pretty fun. A little more dour than I would prefer, and that's weird to say about a show called Wednesday. And I don't like how they completely destroyed a really great series of YouTube videos. There was a young lady who did a video series called Adult Wednesday Addams, and they basically hit her with a cease and desist because they wanted to make this show. And that was really unfortunate, because those were great videos and they weren't hurting anyone. But this is worth a look. And if you got Netflix, which most of you do, definitely check it out. But season 1 is on physical. Hopefully season 2 will be. Hopefully they'll eventually release the whole show. I think they've already announced season 3, right? I think they have.
Yeah, I think so.
So hopefully they'll all find their way to physical eventually. But honestly,
at least that one did.
Yeah. And I will say, in terms of tone, vibe, this very much. And in terms of music, the music in this show is phenomenal. And one of the cool things is Wednesday plays the cello, and she plays popular songs on the cello. And it's like a fun game trying to, guess the song. Like in the last few episodes, there was Don't Fear the Reaper, there was Losing My Religion. Hearing cello covers of these songs is kind of fun, And
then, of course, there was the Wednesday dance everybody was doing for a while.
Well, there's that. There was a dance in the episode we just watched featuring her werewolf friend and her invisible friend, and I'll be curious to see if that catches on. But
well, and if I've only watched half of the first season, and I kind of lost interest for a little bit, but I might eventually pick it back up again. It reminded me, it was interesting that a lot of the other Addams Family, they took a lot of it back towards the source material a lot more, especially the look and tone of the characters. But for Wednesday herself, that was the only one I really feel like they looked at the Addams Family movies version of her and decided she would be a better version.
Well, they definitely harken back to the movies. Like Christina Ricci shows up in the latter part of season 1 as a pretty major character. And Christopher Lloyd has a small role in season 2. Like, they found ways to bring back, some of the...
As far as characterization is concerned, I feel like she's the only one that is the movie character grown up.
Yeah.
Because
especially Gomez goes way back to the original.
Because Gomez is very much like the original. Morticia's kind of been around even with what she was in the movie and the original.
She's somewhere between Caroline Jones and Angelica Houston, I think.
And in the original, and I'm talking the comics. But the original comics, Wednesday was a little bit more, was less of that dour, emotionless character, and in the Addams Family series, she was definitely not. She was just, a happy kid, but just with some weird priorities.
Yeah.
So like I said, so if you really liked the Wednesday from the Addams Family movies, this is definitely where you want to go with it. All right. This one is one that's also very similar to what we were just talking about with Little Witch Academia, which is Tweeny Witches. Now, this one's interesting. This is not very long. I wish it was longer. I love the art style. It's very weird. You can see the art style there. And I'm just showing off the 4 here. So, essentially, you have our main character, which is up here in the center. She always wanted to experience magic, so she ends up falling like Alice in Wonderland into this magical world of goblins, ghosts, and monsters, and gets found by these witches and goes undercover as a witch in training in the witches' school, which she's delighted with. But if she gets discovered, she'll actually be eaten, and she'll be killed and eaten. So it's a little bit more high stakes than I'd say some of them. Very similar to Rosario Vampire in the level of stakes. And the tone is really kind of cool. It's much darker than the other stuff that I've talked about so far. It has, and the art style is much more interesting than some, but it is very well animated. It's one that I really wish I could have seen more of. I need to read the manga. It is well worth your time if you like Harry Potter, especially if you like that Harry Potter. You have that itch and you want a little bit of a darker tone, maybe closer to Wednesday, or you like Rosario Vampire, but you wish it was a little bit darker in nature. And less boobage, I guess. Because, as you know, tween girls don't really do that. Which is good. I don't really want to do that.
All right. You are ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was just trying to look something up real quick, because, again, my brain is not on point right now.
One more time.
I do apologize. My brain is really not on point. I had to double check a major thing there. So, my last one is probably by far the most Harry Potter-ish one. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, when he showed it to me originally, he said, "Hey, this is a Harry Potter anime," or something to that effect. And that is the show Maho Sensei Negima, or simply Negima, or the original one had the subtitle Magister Magi, whatever. And so Negima features a young Welsh wizard named Negi Springfield, very young, he's like 10, and that's a picture of him there with his trusty staff.
Got the little glasses.
The little bitty glasses. Negi is a student at a magic academy in Wales, I believe, who is assigned to, and for lack of a better term, internship or apprenticeship, or I'm not sure the best term for it. It's work study. It's work study.
Yeah, I want to say that he mostly graduated because he was like one of these advanced class kids, and he was very well liked as out there and assigned to teach. But it's been a while.
He is a wizard in training. And his training includes becoming a homeroom teacher at Mahora Academy in Japan. And Mahora is run by a very odd old geezer. The dean of the academy is very interesting. And and Negi takes over the class. Is it 1C? I think it is. Like, he takes over studies for a middle school class of girls who are not themselves witches and wizards, but the show it's by Ken Azumaki. Am I remembering the name right?
I think so.
Ken Azumaki, who is well known for writing harem series, and it is in a way a harem series,
In a good way.
but not. Yes, we'll have to mention more on that in a minute. It's sort of a loose harem structure. Certain characters become very, very close to Negi in a romantic sense. Several of them in more of a familial or mentorship sense. And a lot of them just look at him as their goofy teacher. But there is something in the series called a Pactio, which is sort of a power boost. You could say a shared power up, where Negi gains a lot more magical ability while also giving the girls temporary abilities of their own. And some of them actually do have magical abilities. Most of them, it's something a little different. Asuna Kagurozaki has ties to Negi that we don't actually know about until well into the series. She becomes sort of his older sister looking out for him kind of character, and she is the calm voice of reason and all the crazy. Although in the version he just referenced, she has made a total dingbat with an obsession with chupacabra. And that was kind of fun. You've got let me see here. Evangeline A.K. McDowell is a vampire. Yui is the girl who actually becomes a witch in her own right. Then you've got, this is the daughter of the dean, or granddaughter rather of the dean. Konohab, I think her name was, or something like that. Setsuna is her and true love, and a master swordswoman. And then Nodaka is afraid of men, but she gets over her fear because Negi's really just a boy. And she is probably his strongest romantic option. They become very, very, very close. And she is best friends with Yui, who's her chief rival in love. And then, of course, we have some fun Chiba form stickers of several of the characters. It's a 32-member class. And almost all the characters get some level of representation eventually, mostly in the manga. Again, I've read the manga, and it's one of the longest ones I've read. The anime is very spotty. The first show is the show up through the middle of the Kyoto arc, which they abruptly stopped and then moved off into an anime-only story that takes the show in a very different direction. Then they did the remix.
Yeah.
That has the meme that we love so much in a good way. I mean, in a good way. Where they basically ramped up one quirk of each character to the nth degree. Like, again, Asuna is so dense. She becomes obsessed with Chupacabra. She's always trying to sell Chupa teas, which, when God drops a wash basin on her head because she asked him to buy a Chupa tea. Yui's obsessed with weird drinks. You know, things like that. And that's just a fun, weird version. And then there were a few OVAs that have no American release, and good luck finding them, that represent random pieces of the manga.
That one could use a remake.
And then they did a movie that was an alternate ending. It's not even the ending of the manga. It was intended to be an alternate ending to the series. And I will say straight up, the manga has a much better ending. The movie is basically the harem ending. It's still fun. It is a show that needs a remake.
Yep.
It really needs a remake. But this is, if you have no knowledge of the manga and don't care, it's a pretty good standalone show. Just be ready for tonal whiplash in the final act.
Well, it goes bad serious towards the end.
But it's a pretty fun show. And again, the Harry Potter vibes are very much there. The whole thing of a wizard in training, it's got a lot of similarities. And And if you can track down the OVA episode called Magical Girl Yui, that's the one where Yui is actually in training at a magical school. Give that a look too, but it doesn't have a physical release, so you know. One day.
There was another one. What was it? What was that one? There was another Negima style series that was released, and it was.
Well, there was one that was a sequel to it. Is that what you're thinking of? UQ Holder?
Yeah.
UQ Holder, I think, is Negi's grandson or great grandson. And Evangeline is still a character in it because she's a vampire. Yeah. So. And I think a couple of the other... One of the characters in the cast, I won't say because minor spoiler, is a time traveler, and I think she's a character in UQ Holder too. But yeah, it's a fun... I still haven't seen that one, actually. I need to.
So, last but not least, is a series that's so close to Harry Potter that J.K. Rowling herself sued because she sued them as a ripoff of Harry Potter. She had one major problem, which was that it predated her Harry Potter story by a minimum of 10 years, if not 15 years, and also was one of her written inspirations for the Harry Potter series. Makes it difficult to say that they ripped you off when you ripped them off.
A little bit. Now, some of the later show versions could have drawn elements that,
And what we're talking about is the series Worst Witch. Now, there are 3 series I know of, and there's a few others floating around the BBC did. But we have the movie, which is the first one, which has, of course, Tim Curry, Diana Rigg, and Fairuza Balk as as our main character.
Fairuza Balk's the main character? Oh, interesting.
And essentially, she is a witch, and she's from a normal family, and she gets a scholarship. Boy, that sounds familiar. Where she gets to go to a Witches and Wizards Academy. She's always wanted to be a witch, but she really sucks at it. And some of them are giving her slack, some of them don't. You've got the Malfoy-esque character who comes from a witching family, and she's all like high and mighty and all of that. And of course, she gets her comeuppance a lot. And you've got her cast of friends. You got the smarter friend, you got the more robust, more sporty friend. This one actually expands a little bit more because there's actually a wider group of friends than just the 3. You got Enid that comes in later, around halfway through the first term, and you've got...
what is it with Enid in these series?
You've got some other and you got another character that's there. They are racially more diverse than the main friend group because, I mean, you know, the main character, Mildred's of course white, but one of her best friends, the Blaine, was white, but then the sporty friend, she's black, and one of her other friends is Indian. So, you know, it's very good representation of the UK, I guess you could say, because it's a UK-based series, like Harry Potter. And this one, it has the story of where the sister of the headmistress of the school wants to take over the school and has the plan, but Mildred manages to save the day. And of course, most people remember Tim Curry as the Grand Wizard and his song about Halloween. This is a very good one for Halloween. It's a little bit more kidified, I guess you could say, than a lot, but these were meant for young children. They are mini novels. The HBO series in '98 has out. There's not many of these. These are out of print. And this is only the first series. There were multiple series of it, but they're very hard to get and very hard to see. But I did think this was better done. It really did reflect a lot on the teachers and some of the weird stuff that they get up to, and even humanized Miss Hardbroom, which was kind of like your Severus Snape character and that, and made her more approachable. She was just kind of the stern mistress in this. And this one she was, but you could see a lot of her hang-ups in this as they go. And it's a very fun series. Now, there's another series on Netflix that's 5 seasons long. It stars our Bella Ramsey, who was known big for her role. Or sorry, their role. I keep thinking because it was a she one there, but non-binary now. So they were in Last of Us, which is, I guess, another plus in that way, because, you know, non-binary in that LGBTQ type plus community. So that's also a positive that you could go to by watching that Netflix series. Now, those series very much have a Harry Potter vibe. It inspired the creator of Harry Potter, so you know that's there. And it is a genuinely fun series. The only issue with the series is it does have some of those cases where you just feel really embarrassed for the main character, and you know that what they're doing is going to lead to no good. I don't know if you've ever seen those episodes of a series where you're like, no, don't do that. You're just going to... No, don't do that. And you get a lot of those elements there. It's like, you know,
No good will
it'd
come
be
from
fun
this.
if we cut this class and stole this. No, don't do that. You're going to be yelled at. It's going to fuck up, and you're going to lose. But still, it is an amazing series, well worth your time. Any of these series are well worth your time if you like Harry Potter. You should really find enjoyment from any and all of these. Whether you are somebody who is just really opposed to J.K. Rowling and has burned your books of Harry Potter and all that, or you're just really in love with the wizarding world and you want more of that, but she ain't giving you more, so you gotta get on your own. And this is a good way to do it.
Or you're just looking for a break in between rereadings, you know?
Yes.
So we'll change things up a little bit.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you next Horrorween with something completely different. Or the same. Who knows? It's a year from now. But we'll see you on the next one.
Goodbye.
In a good way.
In a good way.
SeptumSin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real safe, you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. SeptumSin. SeptumSin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side. Doctor streaming will rule the world in time. SeptumSin!